Okay, so how many of you guys like actually realize like how much our heart does every day? Like, right? Some people think about it. I mean, I don't personally. Like, I'm kind of take it for granted. But according to WebMD, our heart beats 100,000 times a day, which is a lot. It's a lot of times. Probably more times than I think about my heart in my life. So today I'm going to talk about what heart disease is, and then I'm going to talk about what the American Heart Association does, and then I'm going to talk about things that they're doing to improve prevention and things like that. So according to the CDC, about 610,000 people die from heart disease every year. It's the leading cause of death in the United States. And it says there it's the 1 in every 4 deaths. I mean, that's a pretty huge statistic. So that means, out of the 4 people, like if you have, say you have 5 people in your family, like that means at least one person is going to die from heart disease, which is kind of crazy to think about. But and usually it's because like even if it's not like the thing that kills them, it'll be like something that attributes to death because the rest of your body starts to not function as well. According to the Mayo Clinic, heart disease is basically, it's just a different name for cardiovascular disease, which is all of your circulatory systems in your body, your arteries and your veins and your heart. And basically what happens is they get like buildup in them, like it's called plaque, or they will die off parts of it. And so it leads to heart failure, or coronary heart disease, as is it also called. And then according to can't remember what the name of it is called, but it's also another basically explaining what heart disease is. It's the same kind of thing. It's interchangeable with cardiovascular disease, but it's basically your cardiovascular system fails, and it can include things like strokes and heart attacks and things like that. So now I'm going to talk about what the American Heart Association is and what they do. According to AmericanHeartAssociation.org 2018, the American Heart Association has been around for almost 100 years, and they're one of the biggest nonprofits. And they've funded a lot of like major like medical breakthroughs in regards to heart disease and things like that. Like they funded the research for like EKGs, or not EKGs, like defibrillators, external defibrillators, and they've also funded things for or funded research for pacemakers. And then according to Charity Navigator 2018, the American Heart Association has funded almost $4 billion of heart-related research. And then now I'm going to talk about things that are being researched and ways that we can prevent heart disease. According to Sultan, 2017 Pakistan Journal of Medicine, one of the leading indicators for heart disease is like work-related stress and depression. Those things are leading indicators for getting heart disease. I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? Because like if you're constantly under all this stress, your body will start to break down. Because like stress isn't just a mental thing; it's also a physical thing. There's physical effects from stress. And then according to Shen and Gao, 2018, people who have heart disease and then they have more combative nature in regards to like receiving medical treatment, things like that, they also tend to have higher levels of depression, which then counteracts the treatment they receive. And like for example, one of the major treatments is like exercise. It helps strengthen your heart, things like that. So people who have like combative nature, who are like, opposed to it, it prevents them from receiving the treatment to the full extent, and so it basically doesn't help improve their situation. So it's like interesting because like the psychosocial model they call it, like where it takes into account not just like your physical health, your mental health, and then like your societal standings around you. That's something that's become more popular in medicine, And that's kind of what they're looking at, is how like it's not just like the treatment you receive, but it's the mindset you have when you're receiving it and things like that. So today I talked about what heart disease is, what the American Heart Association does, and then research that is being done to further prevent heart disease. And then if you guys want, you can check out the American Heart Association at www.heart.org. Thank you.
All right, thank you.